Hello there. I'm Lorena, and today we are with Anthony, who will share his knowledge of product marketing. Thanks for joining us, Anthony.
Thank you for having me, Lorena.
So, first of all, what is product marketing and what was your journey to become one?
Yes. I like to define product marketing as the quarterback between technical and client-facing teams. And what I mean by that is that I help translate the functionality that was developed by technical teams to our sales teams and uh, help them to articulate this to the users. And just as well, in a cyclical fashion, I help translate the user experience and the feedback that was shared by our customers with technical teams so that they could help to further develop functionality to meet the user's needs. And so that's how I would define product marketing and my role within a SaaS organization. And my journey in product marketing started in sales development. So for those that are
Really?
familiar, with the role, it's one in which rejection and adversity is the status quo. So this, helped teach me determination at a higher level and how to really like cut through the noise. And so, my first experience was with an organization that sold marketing solutions. And so these solutions were like AI that scored leads and accounts. So not only did this help me understand who our best customers were, but it helped me understand who the best customers of our prospects were, which was really my hook, sink, and anchor in closing customers. But at a higher level, help me to understand what makes a customer a good customer. And so that was that specific role in my starting point in the like software industry. But
And only
coincidentally,
one comment. It's amazing
yes, yes,
because you bring in your journey your this sales perspective. It means that uh, for sure that in terms of marketing and sales, it helps a lot to understand better both departments. So great. Only to comment. Amazing. Please
most
carry on.
definitely, most
Yeah.
definitely, yeah. So I think that this gave me a unique edge. I think it also it was almost like starting with the most difficult part first. Um, and coincidentally, each of my roles have been one where I was the first hire in that function. And as junior as I might have been in each of my roles, or when I was like very very early in my career, I was always doing more than just interfacing and demoing products to users. Oftentimes I was responsible for drafting the copy for email campaigns or for calling scripts. I was responsible for collecting user feedback. What worked and what didn't work in the first sales call or demo. Objection handling, researching competitors, go to market strategy. Who like what customer types would be the best fit for this, like a new product if we were venturing into uh, a greenfield market, right? And so all of these skills are what I'm responsible for now as a product marketer today. So I just feel like it was, it naturally translated and just evolved over time into what I do today.
Great, amazing. And I know that there are a lot of things to share in terms of what is really important in this matter, but what are the key pillars when
Mm.
creating a successful product go-to-market strategy?
I love this question because the answer, I think, is in finding a careful balance between a scalable framework that's known to drive positive results, but also in prioritizing projects to achieve a time-bound goal. So this is actually something I've done a little bit of research in, and what I've concluded is that there are five programs that could add the most value in the short term. And so these 5 programs begin with creating effective instruction guides and using these guides as the base for product tutorial videos. Now, ultimately, this helps teach your customers how to use the product. The second key element is in drafting persona-based positioning statements and messaging. So like this hinges on how you communicate the value of your product to its customer. And there's a specific template that I use for this, that's based on empirical data, which I could share another time. The third would be in comprehensive competitive analysis and the creation of battle cards to help arm sales teams with all of the knowledge that they need in negotiating with customers and trying to depose a competitor in these negotiations. The fourth would be in conducting user interviews and in leveraging these conversations to produce case studies, that could be continued to that you could continue to share with your user base and further promote your solutions. And lastly, it is in feedback collection and feature requests. So your user interviews can be inputs for this, but this would also can be done holistically through the crowdsourcing details from customer review platforms like G2, and in trying to build a list of feature requests that your users can upvote through something like Canny or Product Board, which I'd love to speak with you more about, which are the tools that can help a product marketer become more successful.
Actually, first of all, I would say that it wasn't an answer. This is a gift for our audience. So thank you very much. But since you just mentioned it, please, I know that we have basically hundreds of tools available. And I believe that as important as having good tools or strategy is to execute it as well as possible. Do you know the basics well done? So you mentioned it, please share with us what would be the fundamental tools for good marketing performance in startup especially.
Sure. So one thing I would like to start with is that I think that especially for budget owners, they might be willing to spend on the tools that would generate them the highest results. And I think in this day and age, where product-led growth reigns supreme, there's a lot that's available at little to no cost. And so there's many of these tools can be done with simple productivity solutions, like Google Suite, Microsoft Suite, where you have access to a lot of different tools in a very cost effective way. Now I understand that this isn't scalable by any means to achieve all of the lofty goals that a marketing team might have, but I think to start with the basics, outside like the standard G Suite or Microsoft 365, I would say that certainly like CRM to log all your customer interactions. HubSpot is great for that. Again, another free to low cost solution. I want to also add that knowledge bases are immensely valuable, for your own teams and for users. And so one tool that I like to recommend that I wish I even got to try myself is a tool I've recently discovered called Tango.us, which actually automatically records product workflows as doing like a guided walkthrough of your application. So, you follow the workflow from step 1 to 5, and it'll log and record all of those steps with like screenshots too. So immensely valuable in terms of time savings.
Well,
Um,
absolutely, it helps a lot.
yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
I would also say that, a lot of this can't be done without a design suite. Like, shout out to Adobe. They've got, many, all the tools under the sun. But I'm a Canva fanboy at heart. There's also a
Yeah,
lot that you could
me
do with
either.
Canva. Um, and as I mentioned, G2, that can be used for free just to see what your customers have to say about your tools. And lastly, like any project management software, I'm kind of like unbiased. So Jira, Monday, Asana, whatever your team might use, I encourage you to use it to the best of your ability. They say that that I know that there's a motto of sales teams, like if you didn't log a customer interaction in your CRM, did you even have it, right? I think
Yeah, exactly.
the same can be said about project management software. If your project's not in the project management, uh, you know, like Kanban board or Gantt chart, then
Yeah.
is it even a project, right?
Yes, absolutely. You mentioned it, led growth, and I have to ask you, is this still a trend? Should companies focus it more on it?
Um, yes. So that's my short answer. And, I saw like the shift from like today with product led growth, we would call the yesteryears like sales led growth. I know that that's like the direct contrast. And in the days of sales led growth, there was what we talked about then too was what works best, lead based marketing or account based marketing. And this, like my first experience in sales development that I quoted for you, we like the company hung their hat, and I was always the devil's advocate, right? I said, you need both to succeed. And so, well, sales led growth is still like there's still a place for it in enterprise contracts, right? But I think this shift to from sales led growth to product led growth is real. Gone are the days of cold calling or even like email campaigns, right? It's like as soon as a lead feels like they're sold to, that's when you've lost them. And so I think that like with product led growth, comes like it brings an element of consumer buying to enterprise uh contracts in the sense that we as like budget owners and those that are responsible for procurement and software want to be able to try before they buy, like you would if you go to an ice cream parlor, or like a beer garden, right? And so I think that this is just the natural process, and it's a way to for a vendor to demonstrate value to their users. So I do think that it's real, and if you don't have a PLG model in place, there are things that you could do to help. And I do have some of those answers, and much of them are steeped in some of the processes that I've shared.
Demonstrate value to the users. I love it. I love it. So
Definitely.
I know that you have a list of successful products, but could you share one product marketing case you have been involved in, and you can say, "Hey, this one, I think that will be the best one to share with you."
Yeah, great question. Um, I think the realist example might not be the most successful because it's based here in like trial and error and facing that adversity. But I think the truest example I have, one I'd like to quote one that I feel like made it full circle. So I'm going to use my past role as an example. I was brought on board there to and so this is one in which, over a matter of just a few months, we were able to generate, hundreds of thousands in revenue. And kind of my process for that started by doing stealth competitive research. I actually, I don't want to put myself out there like that, but I actually got to, chat with the sales reps from all of our competitors. So I got to learn, the trade secrets of their solutions, their differentiators, how they position themselves in the market, how they price their solutions, and this helped arm us with uh, the covert knowledge that we needed to price our solution successfully, package it in such a way where um, we were able to deliver the most value for our customer, um, and while also giving them everything that they needed from our solution. And uh, so with that in mind, it began with competitive research, and market research to better position our product, and to cut through that noise, but to also what was involved is some of the steps in the process that I laid out, right? Understanding the user journey and the product workflows, right? Even trying to detect any hiccups that a user might face in the process, and to develop like FAQ guides to preempt any challenges that would be faced, not only by the user, but any questions that our sales team might have had in how to better represent this product. And so the next step uh, came to be like um, doing like a demo of the product for our sales teams, that was obviously recorded and broadcasted to 100 sales reps and customer success associates, and basically provided to them all the knowledge that they needed to know when interfacing with customers and would-be users. From that point forward, what I offered, like as an additional service for our sales team, I as a product marketer, I look at the sales team as our first customer, and so what I would do is,
May I pause it?
please,
Because it's so important, because you just say that they are your first client. So I know that sometimes when you're talking about sales department and marketing, it's not always this point of view. So amazing. And I really want to understand how to achieve this kind of relationship, because
yeah,
I totally agree with your mindset. It makes a lot of sense. So please tell me more about it and
sure,
how to
yeah,
do it. But yeah.
yeah, definitely. So that's a great question because there were tips and tricks that I leveraged to almost provide like additional services for our sales teams. So I spoke a little bit about competitive research. One thing that I did was I created a Slack channel, and in my own personal inbox, what I had was Google alerts set for like with the tags for all of our competitors' names. So I knew anytime there was a new release or a new fundraising round, or like if there was if they got acquired or something, I would summarize these like market updates for our sales team in a Slack channel that I had created. So every week I would give them a report summarizing these updates. So that was one additional service that I
Take
provided.
notes, guys, because
Yeah.
yeah, I love it. I love it.
A second service that I provided was like kind of an open door policy where if they wanted, if they knew they were going to demonstrate a specific product to a prospect, they would invite me onto the call so that I could demo the product. And at this point in time, we didn't have the sales engineers. So I was the sales engineer, like the de facto sales engineer as a product marketer. So this was a second service that I offered. A third service that I offered for our sales teams was when our reps were negotiating with, like when they were undergoing competitive negotiation, they were facing objections from prospects saying, hey, I'm going up against our competitor X or Y or Z in these conversations. They would say, how could you help me draft a rebuttal, like by email? And so I would help them like craft the messaging to knock out this customer. So this was like a third service that I offered. And so these are all the things that I put in place when we were preparing for our product launch. So like I mentioned, what like in doing these, like before we did the customer demos, I would demo for our internal teams. There would be like 100 reps in this call, and so in this information, I provided them all of the like the messaging, how to represent the product. I provided to them material that they could share, like collateral that they could share with the customers. I even like some of this was uh, knowledge for them to know and understand, but not to share with the customer. And so it was also like I almost treated our collateral as a product in that sense too. What was currently available, what was something that they should know but not say. Um, like future product plans in this sense. And then what was available for them to share with the users, like the public facing content, right? So these are like seminars and like training sessions that I would put on for our teams.
Congratulations for your mindset. It's hard to find a professional who is truly there to support their team, because you're basically connecting users' perspective with your team. And when you're talking, I was thinking they are one single team. Even if we're talking about different areas, different professionals and skill, you become a single team focused on the same direction. So congratulations, congratulations. We are a technology company, and I know that with the AI, technologies have changed the market. How have you been experienced this transformation, and what is the best AI can bring to the market from your perspective?
Great question. So, generative AI is the current trend, and this is something I'm able to witness firsthand at Meta, where I'm involved in developer relations and in promoting internal engineering applications that power these models. And there are all sorts of algorithms. For those that haven't been following the news, there are large language models being produced by Meta for commercial and consumer cases. Um, my role currently is a little bit unorthodox because I'm raising awareness and adoption for uh, products that are produced by and for Meta engineers that don't see the light of day beyond that. But um, these applications that I'm involved in are the infrastructural applications that power these AI models. And so what I know is, from my fluency with these algorithms, there are some that are better than others, but I do believe the hype. I see Gen AI as like the new industrial revolution.
I
Just like
agree.
the internet or mobile applications that came before it. And so personally, I enjoy using these tools for brainstorming and time saving. I'm able to do in 30 seconds what would otherwise have taken me like weeks, months, potentially even years to do. And albeit like error free, right? So I think that that's the power of generative AI. But I think with that being said, you know, it also like needs to come with a disclosure, almost like I did in school, right? When I was going to school, they taught us not to rely on Google and not to rely on Wikipedia, right? Because just like Wikipedia, these generative AI tools are just as good as the information that it's previously fed, right? And so, like personally, as a creator and a writer myself, enjoy and take pride in the labor of my work. I don't believe that it's a replacement for human creativity. Um, and it's not a replace. At the end of the day, it's not a replacement for original thought, because these models are just parrot the data that it was trained on. Right? Like an example that I love to give is I'm next weekend I'm headed to a bachelor party, right, in New Orleans. It's like the Las Vegas of the East, and my friend, uh, is a tech savant, and he used generative AI to plan his bachelor party. He picked the destination, some of the sites that we'll see along the way. And I said to my friend, I said, we can't use this as a replacement for living, right? We have to go and, maybe we use Chat GPT to read us the 10 coolest beer gardens in New Orleans, but you need to go and read the reviews so we
Yeah.
know what we like, right?
Yes, and you have to live it, right? So yes, 100%. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Anthony, we know that you take sports seriously and
Yeah.
have had the experience of playing rugby with Olympic athletes. Amazing. Do you
Yeah.
believe that sports contribute to people making better professional decisions? What you can share about this experience?
Yes. So it's true. I have played alongside and against international professional athletes, and this almost came as a surprise. Really, this wasn't by design, and actually, many of these people I discovered their status after playing them. So what I'll say about sports and professionalism, that I carry with me is that, like ultimately, I believe rugby is a sport that um, fosters a level playing field, and this is how I believe business can and should be conducted. That like I believe like you treat everybody as an equal, right? Like nobody's above you or beneath you, and um everybody's like side by side working towards the same goal.
Yeah,
I tell my report, she doesn't work for me, she works with me. And
absolutely.
and
Amazing.
so with that being said, I think sports and professionalism go hand in hand. They're both predicated upon practice and performance, as well as trial and error. You have to put the time in to get the desired results. And with that being said, you need to be open to feedback and criticism. Some days are going to be good, some days are going to be bad. You can't always, like, one thing I'm learning, I give myself grief for it, but you can't ever operate at 100% capacity. Some days it's going to be 92%. Some days it's going to be 20, right?
After all, we are humans, right?
We're human. And and with that being said, like ultimately, you need to treat your teammates and your opposition with respect without hanging your head in defeat. So those are just some like rules that I live by, whether I'm on the field or off the field. Whether I'm at the office or behind my desk or in my new home. Yeah.
And one comment is we use agile methodologies here, and Scrum was inspired in a rugby team,
Yes,
right?
yes, it was. It was.
Yeah.
And if there's anything I could teach you about Scrum, it's 8 people pushing together. It's like human tug of war, right? Which sometimes business can be, right? So those are
To
just some of my
adapt,
thoughts.
yeah. What you can say for who intend to build their careers in product marketing? There are paths to support them. What you can share with us?
Yeah, so what I'll say is ultimately like don't get discouraged by anything that you don't know. Like in this day and age, just I mean, we spoke a little bit about PLG, right? If there isn't something you could probably learn it for free, like whether it be a skill or a tool. Don't let that be a barrier for you, first and foremost. I know in this day and age, especially, right? Like what's common for job postings in these more competitive markets, like whether it be the Silicon Valley or New York City, U.S. or Brazil, right? I know that there might be like entry level jobs where the job description reads 5 years experience required, and so I wouldn't let this be a blocker for you. There are many skill sets that are transferable, and I know that like in most cases, like product marketing is reserved for more senior members of business facing teams, and there's some good reason for that, but there shouldn't be any barriers of entry really for that would like stratify you or keep this glass ceiling over your head, because ultimately like I think that um you know to be a good product marketer you need to be skilled in all facets, but that's not a blocker in learning any of those areas. Actually, I feel like it's almost a landing ground for exposure to those areas. And I, with that being said, as multifaceted as it might be, there is a place for people of many talents. I came from sales. I was afraid in making the transition that I would be judged as somebody that didn't have this like a traditional background, right? Like I used to I used to think, because I was taught that sellers are from Mars and marketers are from Venus, or however they say it, right? And it's that's the wrong approach to have. It's they're two sides of the same coin. And with that being said, today I like I've hired somebody to join my marketing team that came from a background in instructional design. So there shouldn't be this need to push others out, right? And if anything, we should be inviting others in, because the one common thread for all product marketers is cross collaboration with all areas of the business. So
I love it.
thank you.
Anthony, thank you so much for being a fantastic guest on our podcast. Your insights and expertise, I don't know how to describe how wonderful. I'm feeling grateful for your valuable contribution. So
Thank you for
thank you
having me.
very much. If you have,
Thank
if you
you.
want to share a final message for our audience, please, you can share your final considerations.
Yes. Well, thank you to Lorena and in the team for inviting me to the session. I feel humbled to be a part of this, and flattered, to see me on the guest list in front of all the guests that came before me. And I'm happy to, join any future sessions to elaborate further on the topics that we've discussed. I think, each of these questions could be their own podcast. So, for anybody that has questions about product marketing, how you could enter the field, how you could do product marketing better, even for executive leadership, like how your product marketing function should be run. Feel free to reach out to Lorena, and feel free to reach out to me directly, or seek either one of us for introduction, so that we could discuss these topics further.
Thank you very much. Thank you again.
Thank you,
And
Lorena.
see you soon.
All right, take care.
Bye bye, guys.